Hi guys, let's start this discussion of mock 16 quantitative aptitude, right? So I'll be trying to further experiment with this. In this mock, what I will do is in each and every question, I'll try to revise the concept of the topic that has been appeared so that you need not waste or invest too much of your time in going back to the textbook and also start revising the concept altogether, right? So let's quickly start understanding. Now, when I start the first question, now the first question is talking about logs. So first things first, in case you're comfortable with logs, only then attempt this question. And in case you're not comfortable, then you can safely leave this question and move forward. Clear? So when I go ahead with this question, what are the concepts of log which have been applied here? The concept is quite simple here that we are talking about log. Just one second, guys. Yeah, so we are talking about log. Uh, The first basic concept I'm talking about is log b to the base a is equal to x. Then what do we write? Where b is equal to a to the power x. Clear? Similarly, the second concept that we're applying is if I have log, let's say if I have c log b to the base a, we can also write this as log b to the power c base a. This is what we'll be applying in the first part of the logs. Clear? So these are the two major things that we are checking in this thing. And the third thing that we can see is a mod is used. But yeah, nothing much to be worried about the mod because mod is always positive and we calculate the log of, the log of log b. If it's right log b to the base a, then b is always going to be positive. Right. So let's try to decode the first part. The first part says I have half log mod of a plus b base 10 is equal to 1. So let's first take the half on the power here. So log mod of a plus b to the power 1 by 2 base 10 is equal to 1. Or if I need to remove the log, clear? So if I need to remove the log, I can write this as mod of a plus b whole root over is equal to 10 to the power 1, that is 10. Or in short, I get log of a plus b is equal to 10 square, that is equal to 100. This is the first simple part that I need to apply here. Now, when I simplify my second condition here, I write log b by mod a to the base 10. Now, on the right hand side, I can simplify this as log 4 to the power 1 by 2 to the base 10. So log base 10 and log base 10 will get cancelled. And I get b by mod a is equal to square root of 4, that is 2. And since mod a is positive, I can always equate this to 2 times of mod a. Now, if I replace b in this equation, what do I get here? So I get mod of a plus 2 times of mod of a whole mod is equal to 100. Now, this is nothing but implication of mods here. Clear? So now if I take x, if a is positive, clear, then this can be written as a plus 2a. Clear? And a is positive, so mod will always be positive, which is equal to 100. Or I get 3a is equal to 100. Or from this, I get the value of a is equal to 100 by 3. And the value of b will be equal to 200 by 3. Because mod of a plus b is equal to 100. Clear? And b also has to be positive value here. Because b is appearing in the numerator here. So b is positive, so therefore we'll take the value of b as 200 by 3. Now, if you observe option A, option B, and option C, all of them are giving you 100 by 3, 200 by 3, 100 by 3, 200 by 3. Right? Now, I'll right away reject option A because B should be positive. Clear? Because if I take in this case, B is positive, only then a positive value divided by the positive value will always be a positive value. So option A can be rejected because B can't be a negative value. Similarly, I'll reject option D because B is equal to 100 by 3. A is equal to 100 by 3 and B is equal to 200 by 3 is one of the possible solutions. Now, if I take A is less than 0, if A is less than 0, this can be written as mod plus minus 2A whole mod is equal to 100. Or I get minus A mod is equal to 100. Or minus A mod will be positive A is equal to 100. If I take positive A is equal to 100 and if B has to be positive, clear, then B should be equal to 0. Now, we need to also understand that B cannot be equal to 0. Because I cannot have anything in the form of log 0 to the base 10 is equal to something. Because whatever I take as x, so 0 should be 10 to the power x, and 10 to the power x is never 0 altogether. Clear? So this case is completely ruled out. If this case is ruled out, we have only one option, or we have only one standard set of values of A and B. That is, A is equal to 100 by 3 and B is equal to 200 by 3. So this is going to be my answer, and therefore my answer here is going to be option B. So basic simple properties of log we have also revised, and we have seen it's a very simple question. So I repeat, guys, we need to focus a little more on question selection, because question selection is a key in this examination. This question should not take more than 2 minutes in the exam, so you can check the time that you have taken in the examination, right? And accordingly, you should be focusing on your, calculations, or try to improve your calculation speed. So I repeat, in case you are comfortable with logs and at the same time modulus, only then attempt this question. Else, you can straight away leave this question and move forward. Okay. So now I move to the next question. Now, the next question is talking about dividend, right? Now, dividend is generally, we need to understand that the dividend of any share is generally given on the face value of the share. Clear? So the company A gives 8% dividend and the face value of the share is 10 rupees. So the company gives 0.8 rupees as a dividend per share. Now, this guy Mohan owns 500 shares of this company. So therefore, the total dividend here becomes 0.8 into 500, which will be 400 rupees is the total dividend that Mohan gets. Now, he sells these shares at 60% premium. Again, we need to understand that the terminology premium is again applied to the face value of the share. So the face value of the share is 10, and I am inflating, or I'm selling it at 60% premium. That means I'm selling it at what price, guys? I'm selling it 16 rupees. Now, how many shares am I selling at 16 rupees? I'm selling 500 shares at 16 rupees, which means the amount that he gets by selling these shares is equal to 8,000 rupees. Clear? Now, the face value of the other company is 5, and which are being sold at 20% discount. Again, if premium is on face value, then the discount value is also given on the face value of the share, which here there is a discount of 20%, which means the price at which he bought the share is equal to 0.8 of 5. So he bought each share at 4 rupees. Right? So how many shares did he buy? So I can say that the number of shares that he bought will be equal to 8,000 divided by 4, which means he has bought how many shares, guys? He has bought 2,000 shares. Now, the dividend from the second company, D2, okay? D2 is going to be the face value. Clear? So the total number of shares into face value of the share is 5, and the dividend given by the company is 5%. So this is the amount of dividend per share into number of shares is the total dividend that he gets. So 0000 gets cancelled, 25 twos are 50, and 50 and with a 0 gives you 500. So initially he got a dividend of 400 rupees, and now he got a dividend of 500 rupees. And now the question is asking you, what is the difference between the gains of both the dividends? Therefore, the difference between the gains of both the dividends is equal to 100 rupees. So very simple question, but yes, we need to understand the basic terminology that dividend is on the face value of the share. Your premium is also given on face value and discount is also given on the face value. So if you understand these three terms, we should have entered here. But at the same time, if you feel that you are not comfortable with the term dividend, right? So then you can leave this question and move forward to the next question. Now, this is a very interesting question or very simple question, which is talking about volume of a cone. So just to revise, what is the volume of a cone? The volume of the cone is equal to 1 by 3 into pi into r square into h. Clear? Now, the volume of a cubic cone increases by x cubic units after its radius is increased by 6 units. So there is an initial volume of the cube. That is 1 by 3 into pi into r square into h. Now, this whole thing is increasing by x, right? When I increase the radius by 3 units, so sorry, 6 units, that is 1 by 3 into pi into r plus 6 whole square into h. Now, if you observe, the last line of the question has told you that the original height of the cone is 3 units. So if you multiply by 3 here, and this h I'm replacing by 3. So 3 and 3 gets cancelled, 3 and 3 gets cancelled. From this equation, what do we get? We get the value of x is equal to, I can take pi into, this is r square plus 12r plus 36 minus pi r square. So here what will we get? We can take a pi common, which will give you r square plus 12r plus 36 minus r square. So r square and r square gets cancelled. So this is one value of x that we get. Clear? Now the second part of the sentence says that increasing the height of the cone by 9 units, that means initially it was 3, and I'm increasing by 9, which means now the value becomes 12 units. Right? Now the volume of a cone still is increasing by x units. So here also what I will look at it as 1 by 3 into pi into r square into 3 plus x is equal to 1 by 3 into pi into r square into 3 plus 9. Now the volume, now the height becomes 12. So 3 gets cancelled, 3 fours are. So by equating this, what do we get? We get the value of x is equal to, this is 4 pi r square minus pi r square, which will give you 3 pi r square. Now if I equate both these x's here, then what do I get here? So we get 3 pi r square, okay, is equal to pi common, and we get 12r plus 36. So pi and pi gets cancelled. So I get a quadratic equation in the form of 3r square minus 12r plus 36 is equal to 0. And the best part is the question is asking you the value of r. Okay. Now I need two numbers whose product is equal to 108 and sum is equal to 12. Now 108 will be 1 into 108. 108 becomes 2 into 54. This becomes 3 into 36. This becomes 4 into 4 twos are 27. Again, the gap is not 12. And now this becomes 6 into 18. And here I see the gap is equal to 12. So I can take 3r square minus 18r plus 6r plus 36. Sorry, this is minus 36. Minus 36 is equal to 0. So I can take a 3r common, which will give me r minus 6, plus a 6 common, which will again give me r minus 6 is equal to 0. So in short, we have 3r plus 6 and r minus 6 is equal to 0. Now, since the radius is always positive, we know that the radius of this cone should be equal to 6 units. And that is what the question is asking you. And therefore, the answer here becomes 6. So again, a very simple word it, guys. If in case the question was very much clear within the first line itself, if you know what is the volume of a cube, then you can read the question, make equations and simplify and come out of this question successfully. So not a difficult question at all. I would say it should be a must-do question because all of us by now should know what is the formula of volume of a cone, right? So again, approximately around 2 minutes for this question, and you should have converted 3 good marks, and you should have come out of this question directly altogether. Yeah, let's move to the next question now. Now, this is again a very interesting question on functions. I repeat, you would have seen questions on functions in the past. In case you are comfortable, only then move forward. Okay. Now, what is given to me? We are given f1 plus f2 plus f3, so on, so on, so on till f10 is equal to 1. Find the value of f1. That means somehow I want to use the value of f1 here. Right. And I'm given f of x plus y is equal to f of x. F of x plus y is equal to f of x plus f of y. Now, if I need to use f of 1, let us replace x and y as 1. So I get f of 1 plus 1, that is 2, is equal to f of 1 plus f of 1. Or in short, I get the value of f of 2 is equal to 2 times of f of 1. Now, I need the next value as f of 3 here. So if I write f of 3 as 2 plus 1, which will give you f of 2 plus f of 1. Now, f of 2 is 2 times of f of 1. So this gives me 2 times of f of 1 plus f of 1. So this eventually will become 3 times of f of 1. So you can understand if f of 1 is equal to 1, f of 1, then f of 2 is equal to 2 times of f of 1, and f of 3 is equal to 3 times of f of 1. Now, one last check. If I write 4 as 3 plus 1, this becomes f of 3 plus f of 1. Now, f of 3 is 3 times of f of 1 plus f of 1 will give you 4 times of f of 1. That means this trend is continuing. So I can rewrite my equation as f of 1 plus 2 times of f of 1 plus 3 times of f of 1 plus 4 times of f of 1 plus 5 times of f of 1 and so on, so on, so on till 10 times of f of 1 is equal to 1. Now we take f of 1 common here. I get 1 plus 2 plus 3, so on, so on, so on till 10 is equal to 1. Now 1 to 10, the sum of 1 first n natural numbers is n into n plus 1 divided by 2. So sum of first 10 natural numbers becomes 10 into 11 divided by 2, which will be equal to 55. So we get 55 times of f of 1 is equal to 1, or we get f of 1 is equal to 1 by 55. Again, a very easy question, but depends on whether you're comfortable with functions or not, right? So the only simple logic that we have to apply is see that if the question is asking f of 1, clear, then we have to replace everything in the form of f of 1 and try to see if we can get the answer or not. So this question becomes option B is your correct answer, 1 by 55. And should not again take more than 2 minutes in case you're comfortable with the concept of functions or iterative functions. Clear? And then move forward and continue. Right? Let's move to next part. Yeah, so again, a very easy question. The sum of three prime numbers is equal to 100. The minute I see sum of three prime numbers is equal to 100, let's revise the concept of prime numbers. In prime numbers, one thing that we need to know is 2 is the only even prime number, and rest all the prime numbers are odd. This is one of the very common concepts of prime numbers that we apply in the questions whenever we are given prime numbers. Now, some of three prime numbers. Okay, let's say this is a plus b plus c is equal to 100. Now, definitely two of them will be odd. Now, what is odd plus odd? Odd plus odd is even, right? So if I take the third prime number also as an odd number, then the whole sum becomes odd, but our sum is equal to 100. So by default, this will be 2. Clear? So one of the prime numbers is 2. If one of them exceeds the other value by 36. So let's say if this is x, then this becomes x plus 36 is equal to 100. Or what do I get? I get 2x is equal to how much, guys? 38 gets subtracted, that is 62. Or we get the value of x is equal to 31. So one of the prime numbers is 2. Clear? The second prime number is 31. And the third prime number is 67. And all the three of them are prime numbers. Clear? Now, why did I not increase 2 by 36? Because if I increase 2 with 36, 2 plus 36 will give you 38, which is not a prime number. Right, that is why I did not apply a 36 to this. Instead, I clearly moved ahead with 2, and the other two numbers, the gap is going to be 36, and that should be giving you your answer. And all the three numbers has to be prime numbers. Now, 61 plus 67 plus 31 is 98, and 98 plus 2 is 100, which is also satisfying the given criteria. Now, the question asking you, then one of the numbers is what? So either I have 2, or I have 31, or I have 67. Clear? And none of the values are given to us, and therefore the correct answer to this question becomes none of the above. So very easy question. You should have definitely converted this question. No chance of you not knowing about prime numbers, because that's the basic thing that we have also practiced in the class. That 2 is the only even prime number, and the rest all the prime numbers are odd. Right now, this is one of the most interesting questions in this paper, guys. I was really amused when I saw this question, because for first 1 or 2 minutes, I was puzzled. How can this question be possible? Okay, now let's see. First property that we'll be applying here is AB is equal to AC. Whenever I say AB is equal to AC, that means triangle ABC is an isosceles triangle. Now, I have always told this in the class too. Whenever the question says isosceles triangle, the only property that comes to my mind is I drop a perpendicular from the vertex to the unequal side. Clear? Now that acts as a median, that acts as an angle bisector, that acts as a perpendicular bisector, and so on and so on and so on. Now AB is equal to AC is equal to 2 given to us. This is 2 and this is 2. Now if I drop a perpendicular from here to my base, okay, so it bisects my base. So this part becomes, let's draw it properly. Yep. So if I just drop a perpendicular from the vertex to the base, it bisects the base. When it bisects the base, this value becomes root 3 and this value becomes root 3. Now you see there's a right angle triangle here, okay? If there's a right angle triangle, you have 2 and root 3. So we know that in a right angle triangle, if angles are in the ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 3, that means if angles are in the ratio of 30, 60 and 90, then sides will be in the ratio of 1 is to root 3 is to. So you have 2 and root 3, so this part becomes 1. That means in this triangle, the angles are 30, 60 and 90. So this part becomes 30 and this part becomes 60. Clear? If that top part is 60, the same line also acts as angle bisector. If the same line acts as an angle bisector, so this part also becomes 60 and this part becomes 30. Now, if this part is equal to 30, then this complete part of the triangle is equal to how much is 150 degrees. Okay. At the same time, if this angle is equal to 120 and this is a straight line, so this remaining part of the angle will be how much is? The total remaining part of the angle is 60 and AD is the angle bisector. So this part becomes 30 and this part also becomes 30. Now, if you observe, there's a 30-degree here. There's a 150-degree here. Now, sum of two angles is itself 180 degrees. Now, which is not possible. Right. And that is what I was puzzled that how can this be there? I was trying to recheck my question, but luckily what I did is I looked at my options. And in one of the options, I was given that figure is not possible. And I guess the calculations are correct here. So this kind of triangle is definitely not possible. And therefore, in this case, your answer becomes option D. So we are just applying two basic properties here that in in an isosceles triangle, if you drop a perpendicular, suppose these two sides are equal, and I drop a perpendicular, now this acts as a median, this acts as an angle bisector, and this will also be the height of the triangle. So this is the first property that you should also think of applying whenever you are seeing an isosceles triangle in the examination. Clear? So that should be a very easy convert provided you are sure of your answer, right? Now this is a very simple question of ratios here. A similar question was also there in one of our revision classes that a person has scored certain marks, right? So in class 10th of an examination, Vikram wrote 5 papers, all have equal maximum marks. Okay. If the marks secured in these 5 papers were in the ratio of 2 is to 3 is to 4 is to 5 is to 6, this is a must solve question in the examination. Very easy question. So he got 2x marks, he got 3x marks, he got 4x marks, he got 5x marks, and he got 6x marks. And the maximum marks I'm assuming in each subject are y, and okay. Now the average of the highest and the lowest. The highest and the lowest is 2x plus 6x divided by 2y should be equal to 56 divided by 100. So what do we get from here, guys? We get 8x divided by 2y is equal to 56 by 100. Clear? Now, if you just simplify, this is 8 ones are 8, 7s are. This is 2 ones and this is 2 50s. So what do we get? We get x by y is equal to 7 by 50. So I can assume that 50 is the, or 50k are the maximum marks of each subject. Clear? So 50k are the maximum marks of each subject. Now the question says find the number of papers in which he scored not less than 60%. So we know that 60 percentage, so the marks should be greater than or equal to 60%. Now 60% of 50k should give me how much, guys? That means I need the marks that he scored should be greater than or equal to 30k. Clear? So if I replace x is equal to 7k, in this paper he scored 14k, in this paper he scored 21k, in this paper he scored 28k, in this paper he scored 35k, and in this paper he scored 42k. And we are shortlisting the papers where he got more than 30k. So if he got more than 30k, it is 35k and 42k are the two papers where he got more than 30k, and therefore your answer here becomes 2. So the standard question, yes, similar question on these lines was an old CAT question. So there's no concept to be applied here apart from the concept of ratios here. If you are messing up, then maybe you're messing up with the calculations here, right? So if you keep this in a very simple manner, then I think it should be a very easy question to convert. And according to me, this question should be a must-solve question in the paper. Right? So these 3 marks you should have definitely try to grab and move forward in the examination. Now comes the next question. The minute I see the first sentence is talking about percentage. Clear? But when I read this question, however, it is thrice as likely to rain on Sunday if it is raining on Saturday and blah, blah, blah. And if I read the question statement, if the probability that it rains on at least one of the 2 days is given to us, right? Now, since probability is a topic which we are yet to discuss in the class, I'm sure none of you would have, been confident in this. And in case you're not confident, or even if you read the question and you don't understand it much, then according to me, this is a question that must be left in the examination. You should not waste too much of time, maybe give like 30 seconds to it, but not more than that, because the question is designed in a very different manner. So we'll discuss this question once the chapter of probability is completed in the class. So this question, I would rather advise you that you should have left in the examination and you should have moved forward. Right? Now, the next question that we're talking about is let PQR be a right angle triangle. Now, whenever I see a question on right angle triangle, I definitely think of at least attempting that question in the examination. Okay. So I have a right angle triangle here. And the question says it is right angled at what? Right angled at P. So this is my 90, this is P, and let's say I write this as Q and I go with this as R. Now told that PQ is equal to 60 kilometers and PR is equal to 80 kilometers. So this is 3 into 20. We are applying Pythagorean triplets here. And this is 4 into 20 here. So the hypotenuse becomes 100, which is nothing but 5 into 20. Clear? Now PS is perpendicular to QR. So I'm dropping a perpendicular from P to QR. Now if I drop a perpendicular, right, you need to understand that PS. So by applying the area concept, the area of the triangle is half into PQ into PR. That should be equal to half into QR into PS. Or if you can remember the formula directly, the value of this perpendicular drawn from the right angle to the hypotenuse is always product of both the legs of the triangle, that is 80 into 60 divided by the hypotenuse. Clear? That is equal to 100. And this will give you 48 is the value of this. Now, the third concept that we are applying in this question is that if you have a right angle triangle, right hand triangle, here, inside another right angle triangle. Now, we can apply the concept of similarities inside a right angle triangle. Clear? So if this is 90, let's say this is X. Now, this angle becomes 90 minus X. Clear? So what is the similarity concept we are applying? If opposite to X is a multiple of 4 in the larger triangle, okay? Then in the smaller triangle also opposite to X should be a multiple of 4. Clear? So this is 4 into 12. Opposite to 90 is a multiple of 5 in the larger triangle. So in the smaller triangle also opposite to 90 will be a multiple of 5, that is 5 into 12. So we get the value of SQ. What is the value of SQ? The value of SQ will be 3 into 12, that is 36. You need not apply Pythagoras theorem for that. Or you can also go by triplets here, 3 into 12, 4 into 12, and 5 into 12. So this is one part that we definitely have. Now, what is the question talking about? PS. Now, ST is perpendicular to PQ. That means I'm dropping another perpendicular here. ST is perpendicular. Now, I want the minimum possible time required to reach T from the point S, which means we want the value of ST. Now, can I say ST is also a right angle triangle inside a right angle triangle? Clear? So, opposite to 90 should be a multiple of 5. Okay. And opposite to X should be a multiple of 3. So, I would say that if 5K, or I'm saying this as this is 5K, and opposite to X should be a multiple of, multiple of 4, right? Yeah, opposite to X should be a multiple of 4. So this becomes 4K and this becomes 3K. So I would say if 5K is equal to 36, we want the value of 4K. So this becomes 7.2. 7.2 into 4 will give you how much days? That is 28.8. So the value of ST is equal to 28.8. So we are using similarities under the concept of a right angle triangle drawn inside a right angle. Clear? Just to explain you a little clearly. So if this is what is given to us, this is a right angle triangle. And I'm dropping a perpendicular like this. So this is a multiple of 4. This is a multiple of 3. And this is a multiple of 5. So if I take this as 90, this as x. So opposite to x in a larger triangle is a multiple of 4. So correspondingly, opposite to this also will be a multiple of 4. Opposite to 90 is a multiple of 5. So this will also be opposite to 90, a multiple of 5. And in the smaller triangle, this becomes 3. And this is what we are using. If 5k is equal to 36, then we are calculating the value of 4k. Now the question asking you find the minimum possible time required from t to reach t from the point S. The speed is 14.4 kilometers an hour. So total distance is 28.8 kilometers an hour. Divided by, we are dividing it by 14.4. Now 14.4 into 2 is equal to 28.8. And therefore, the value here becomes 2 should be the answer of this right angle triangle that we are talking about. Clear, guys. So a very easy concept of right angle triangle. So you should not miss out on right angle triangle inside a right angle triangle concept. If you missed, please go back and revise because I had taken in one of the classes, right? Or you can use similarity also because we're using the same concept of similarity only. Corresponding sides ratio is equal, right? So must do question because right angle triangle, isosceles triangle, and equilateral triangle are the triangles which should not be left in the examination. So therefore, you should have done this and you should have converted this question, right? Now let's move to this question. We are talking about investments and profit sharing ratio. So just to revise the concept that investments and profit sharing ratio, how do I share the profits? So my profit sharing ratio will be equal to time period for which A has invested into the investment of A is 2, time period for which B has invested into investment of B, and so on and so on and so on. If A has invested different amounts for different time periods, so I will write TA1 into IA1 plus let's say TA2 into IA2 because this happens, sometimes A is withdrawing his money after 4 months, then investment changes, right? So on, so on, so on. The same applies to B and the same applies to others also. Now, if I read this question, P invested in a business with an initial amount of 45,000. After 2 months, Q joined with an investment of 20% more than P. After 5 months of joining Q, R joined with an investment which is 35% less than Q. At the end of the year, the total profit was 13,95,000. Find the share of R. That means it's very clear that P's investment stayed down in the business for 12 months. So 45,000 for 12 months is 2. Now, Q invested 20% more than B after 2 months of starting of business. That means Q's investment was there for 10 months. Now, 20% of 45,000 is 9,000. So 45,000 plus 9,000 will give you Q invested 54,000 for 10 months. Now, after 5 months of joining Q, that means R joined the business after 7 months. That means R's money was in the business for 5 months. 35% less, 35% less, I'm keeping it in the fraction form, that is 65 by 100 of Q's investment, that is 54,000. Let us keep it like this to simplify because these are my 3 zeros which will get cancelled. Clear? The next part is I can see this is 9 6s, this is also 9 6s, and this is 9 5s. Next part I can simplify is 6 6 and 6 2s gets cancelled. Next part I can simplify. This is 5 1s, this is 5 2s, and this is 5 1s. Right? And finally, I can write this is 5 13s and this is 5 20. So I have a simplified form of the ratio in the form of 2 is 2, 2 is 2, 13 by 20. The second concept we are applying here is ratio of fractions. Now, in ratio of fractions, just to revise the concept, we first take LCM of denominators. And then what do? We multiply each ratio with the LCM. Clear? So therefore, if the LCM is 2 by 1, 2 by 1, 1 is 1 and 20, the LCM is 20. So I multiply this by 20, I multiply this by 20, and I multiply this by 20. So our simplified form becomes 40 is to 40 is to 30. Now the share of R here becomes 13 divided by 93. Now since total is given, we use the fraction form into 1395000. So if we need to simplify this, this can be 3 into 31. And this goes up with 3 4s are 12, 19, 3, 4, 6, 5, 000. Now, if you simplify 465 by 31, 31 ones are 31. I'm left with 155. 31 fives are is 155. So 31 into 15,000 is equal to 4,65,000. So our final answer becomes 13 into 15,000, which in short is 13 into 15. Now we have learned multiplication of 15, 13 into 10, which is equal to 130. And 13 into 5 will be half of 10, that is 65. So therefore, we are looking at 195 followed by 3 zeros. Clear? So this becomes the profit of R, and we have option D, which is satisfying. So very doable question, which involves calculations a bit. But the best part is when you're writing the CAT examination, you have an access to calculator too. And therefore, you should be able to get your answer by using at least the calculator and not messing up in the calculation part of it. Clear? So let's move to the next question now. So now this question is talking about the average weight of the boys, right? So if I revise the concept of averages, a simple concept I use that average is equal to average into number of terms is equal to sum total. Or we can also go with the equal distribution model. Let's see. So I'm given the average of 5 boys is equal to 50. So I can say that the sum total of 5 boys is equal to 5 into 50. If 3 more boys whose average weight is equal to the weight of the heaviest among the first 5 boys. Now I do not know the heaviest guy. Let me assume the heaviest guy is X. So 3 more boys whose average weight is equal to the weight of the heaviest guy. So if the weight of the heaviest guy is X, the average of those 3 boys is equal to X. Clear? So the sum total of those 3 boys here becomes how much, guys? 3X. Then the overall average increases by 3. So initially the average was 50. And now the overall average increased by 3. That means my new average became 53. Now, since this we are talking about sum total, on the left-hand side also we have to look at sum total. So we had 5 people and 3 more people joined. That is 5 plus 3 is 8. And therefore, this becomes 8 into 53 will be equal to sum total. Should not be too difficult the calculation for here for us, guys. So this is 3x. Now 8 3s are 24. 4 I carry 2. So this is 424 minus 520. Oh, sorry, minus 250. My bad. Yeah. So what do we get here? 250 plus 74 will give you 324 plus 100. So if 3x is equal to 174, the value of x is equal to 58. And we have assumed that the heaviest boy is equal to x. And therefore, the answer for this question becomes 58. It is a very simple question. Smaller numbers, a group of 5, a group of 3. So again, a must-solve question in the examination. Right? I just hope that you would have done on the same lines and you would have definitely converted the question altogether. Right? So let's go forward to the next one. Now it says a ladder leans against a wall and its top is 8 meters above the ground. Okay. So this is 8 is given and we have a ladder whose height I do not know. Okay. Now, when its bottom is moved 2 meters away, okay. So if this is equal to x. Now this question says when the bottom is moved 2 meters away, let's say this is 2. That means the foot of the ladder is here. Then its top rests against the foot of the wall. That means this is now equal to the length of the ladder. Clear? Which means the length of the ladder will become how much, guys? X plus 2. Clear? So if I rewrite my diagram, this is equal to x. Now the length of the ladder is equal to x plus 2 and the height is equal to 8. Now we can apply Pythagoras theorem, guys. Now do not try to assume triplets here because no matter in this it's working out. But trust me, guys, whenever only one side of the triangle is given, we are not supposed to use Pythagorean triplets. We only use Pythagorean triplets when two sides of the triangles are given. So on a safe side, I would rather take the Pythagoras theorem here. So x plus 2 whole square is equal to x square plus 64, that is x square. Now x plus 2 whole square would give you x square plus 4 plus 4x is equal to x square plus 64. X square gets cancelled, or you have 4x is equal to 60, or we get the value of x is equal to 15. So the triangle has a triplet here. 15, this becomes 17, and this becomes 8. Now, what is the question asking us? Sometimes in a hurry, students look at the value of x, they take the value of x here, right? And the best part is it's a fill in the blank question. But the question statement is asking us, what is the length of the ladder? And the length of the ladder is equal to 70. So in this question, I would say one, we are using Pythagoras theorem. And the second most important point in this question is, in case you have ticked 15 as the answer, please read the question statement before you answer the question. This is a very important takeaway in case you have not ticked the right answer, or even if you have ticked, please follow the second step here. Always in every question that we will read the question statement before we are answering the question. Clear? Now let's move to this question. This question was again a very interesting question. One second, guys. Now, South Africa batting first scored at the rate of 4.6 runs per over, being all out. Okay. India later made just enough runs to win the match in 4 overs less than the number of overs. Now, if you look at the solution here, I was not convinced with the solution, right? Let's see what is happening here. So let's say we are talking about number of overs. So I'm talking about South Africa and I'm talking about India. In the first case, India made played 4 overs less than what South Africa played. That is x and x minus 4. And the second thing we're talking about is run rate. Now, this is where a bit of idea helps you here. Run rate of South Africa is 4.6. Now, we need to understand that if I'm making 6 runs per over, and I am playing for 20 overs, right? So people who follow cricket should not have a problem here. So 6 into 20, so 120 becomes the total runs scored. So therefore, number of overs into run rate will be equal to the total runs scored. So total runs scored by South Africa becomes 4.6x. Now, in the solutions, you would see the number of runs scored by India was also given as 4.6x, which is wrong because India made just enough runs to win the match. Now, if India is winning the match then and made just enough runs, the minimum score that India would get is 4x plus 4.6x plus 1. Clear? Now, if this is what is the case of India, I know India's number of overs, so therefore the run rate of India would be 4.6x plus 1 divided by x minus. Why am I using this? Because India's run rate had been 15% more. So I'm talking about run rate, okay? So I'm done with this part. If India's run rate had been 15% more, so India's run rate is 4.6x plus 1 divided by x minus 4. And run rate would have been 15% more. So this would have been India's new run rate. Clear? It would have ended the matches 6 overs earlier than what. So usually the match got over at x minus 4 overs. So now the match would have got ended at x minus 4 minus 6 overs, 6 overs earlier. And India is still making 4.6x plus 1 runs. So therefore, this will be the new run rate of India should be equal to the new run rate as per the question. So not a difficult set at all, guys. So the beautiful part here is 4.6x plus 1 and 4.6x plus 1 gets cancelled. I can simplify this as 5 into 23, and this is 5 into 20. So when we cross multiply, we get 23x minus 230 is equal to 20x minus 80. Or when we transpose our values, we get 3x is equal to 150, or we get the value of x is equal to 50. So might sound a little strange as an equation, but trust me guys, if you're going step by step, then I don't see any reason why you should not be able to make the equation here. And the only thing you'll have to understand is that equation or the relationship between runs and run rate and number of overs. Clear? If x is equal to 60 or 50, the question is asking you find the number of runs scored by South Africa. Now, South Africa scored 4.6 into 50, which is equal to 46 into 5. Now, if I break this as 40 plus 6 into 5. So, 5 into 40 is how much, guys? 200. And 5 into 6 is how much? 230 becomes my total value, which is option A. So you will not have a trouble in this question in case your equation building is fine. So according to me, this question is based majorly on equations and our ability to build a relationship between runs, run rate, and the number of overs. If you are able to understand this and finally equate it in the end, then this should be a very easy question. According to me, I would say this is a must-solve question in the paper. But there is a very possibility you might have messed up in the equation. So be a little careful here, guys. But a very easy question to convert according to me altogether. Clear? Now, this is a very interesting question. Now, this question is a question of mixtures. In case you're comfortable at mixtures, do it. Clear? And according to me, this should be picked up in the first go. Clear? So I did not revise much about the first go questions, guys. So again, it all goes with the comfort zone. If you're good at logs, I would go this as a first go question. Dividend, if you are comfortable, go ahead because no calculations, no mess ups in between. Mensuration, first go question, small question itself. F of x plus f of y, this generally comes in a question which is try. Okay, I will try. If I try, this should go in the second list, but in the first 30 seconds, if you are getting this idea called f of 2 is equal to 2 times of f of 1, then this also becomes a first go question, guys. Sum of three prime numbers to me should be a first go question because not too much to do the trial and error, but yes, it will be a first go question only if the idea comes to your mind that A should be equal to, right? Now, isosceles triangle, generally this is a try. In case you're comfortable with isosceles triangle, go with it. Else it's a try-based question which should be attempting in the second shot. This is the first go question because whenever the question is talking about ratios, I will definitely attempt in the first shot. This so we have left already. Now, right angle triangle, according to me, if you're comfortable with the right angle triangle, inside a right angle triangle, this becomes the first go question. Else, generally, the questions on geometry becomes the second short questions because I'll have to try. Okay, but when I read the question, right angle triangle, inside a right angle triangle, if you get that thought process in your mind, then first go question definitely. Investments will definitely be a first go question. This has no chance to do or nothing to do with the second go question. Average weight again goes in the first shot. Should not have missed out on this. Ladder leaning against the wall is a very small question. Again, I would rather go ahead with this as a first shot question. And finally, this question, if you find yourself to be in a slightly complicated space, then you should have come back to this question in the second round, not in the first round. But yes, having said that, if you understand the relationship between run rates and runs and overs, this becomes a first shot question. It's not a difficult one at all. Similarly, if you're comfortable with mixtures, I would definitely consider this to be my first shot question, and then I'll enter into it. Okay. So wine and soda drink A contains 10% wine, 90% soda, and the drink B contains 9 liters of wine. Okay, when two drinks are mixed, the resultant mixture contains 12% wine. If volume of drink B is 1/3 of volume of drink A, or A is thrice of B. If A is thrice of B, clear? I would rather assume that there are 100 x liters of A of B, then A will be how much, guys? 300 x liters of the total thing. And I'm talking about wine because the question is saying that finally, how much do I have? I have 12% wine. So this is should be our logic. So wine coming from the first solution plus wine coming from the second solution divided by total quantity. Total quantity here becomes 400x, which is 100x plus 300x. Clear? Multiplied with, or wine coming from A and wine coming from B. Clear? Multiplied with 100, it should give you 12%. And the question is asking you what is the combined volume of the resultant mixture? That means we have to calculate the value of X here, right? Now, only 10% wine is in the first one, so therefore 30x. In the second case, wine is only of 9 liters. So what we can look at this as 30x plus 9 divided by 400x into 100 is equal to 12. 0000 gets cancelled. So we have 30x plus 9 is equal to 48x. Or we have 9 is equal to 18x. Or we have the value of x is equal to 9 by 18, which is equal to 1 by 2. So very simple question, guys. We got the value of x. Now the question is asking you combined volume of the resultant mixture. I have mixed the total volume of 400x liters, which becomes 400 into half. And therefore your answer here becomes 200x liters. So 200 liters will be the combined resultant mixture. And therefore 200 should be your answer. So definitely to be looked at in the first shot, right? Let's look at the next question, guys. Now, in this question, I'm told that in an MBA coaching center, the total number of students in the class is 120 and the ratio of boys and girls is 3:5. The minute I read this, I think the question is pretty clear. Okay. So 120, I'm dividing into 8 parts. So boys will be 15, right? So that's boys will be 45 and girls will be 75. Right. The average age of the boys is 25. So this is my number of students. So I'm given average age of boys is 25 and the average age of girls is 1 less than the average age of boys. Clear? So till here the question is pretty clear. Going ahead with it. If 5 boys with an average age of 24 years leave the class and 5 girls with an average age of 22 years also leave the class. Clear? Then find the average age of the remaining boys and girls together. Right? Which means, in a way, I'm looking at the sum total, right? Because I have to calculate, this should be the thought process, okay? I'm calculating average age of the remaining boys and girls. That means what am I looking at? The sum total after adjustment divided by new number of people. So 10 people went off, that is 110 multiplied by 100. Clear? Right? Now, if you want to go ahead with calculation intensive, I know that the sum total here is 45 into 25 minus 5 people of 24 left, that is 120, plus this becomes 75 into 24 and 5 girls with an average of 22 left, that is 110. Clear? Divided by 110 into 100 should be your direct answer here. Clear? So to me, if you want to go it in a very simplified manner, you can directly use the calculator and easily move out of it. Clear? Because I do not know the average age of the whole class. So therefore, an easier method here is sum total divided by 110 into 100. The minute you understand this is a very easy set, I should be looking at this in the first round and I should be able to get my answer and move on. Clear? I think with the calculation, we will get 24 years and 6 months. Should be your answer here. Clear? So again, a very easy question to look at and you should be able to get the answer very easily there. And that should be your final answer. Clear guys? Right, so let's move to the next question. Now, this is a question that if you won't believe, you have already seen in the class. That should help you to understand that this should be in the first list. Okay, if A and B are the quadratic roots of the quadratic equation, 2x square plus of alpha minus 3x plus of alpha square minus 2. Then the question is asking you find the maximum possible value of a square plus b square. We have discussed a similar question in the class. A square plus b square will be nothing but a plus b whole square minus 2ab, whereas a plus b will be written as sum of the roots and ab is nothing but the product of the roots. So what is a plus b here, guys? So a plus b whole square, the sum of the roots. So let me write a plus b. The sum of the roots is minus b by a minus of alpha minus 3 divided by a whole square minus 2 into product of the roots. So product of the roots is equal to c by a, that is alpha square minus 2 divided by, let's cancel this 2 into, okay, and this alpha square minus 2 is in the bracket. So what do we get from here? So minus square becomes a plus, so this becomes a alpha square plus 9 minus 6 alpha divided by 4, and then I have a minus of, or let's just take an LCM, minus of 4 times of alpha square minus 2. Clear? So what do we get from here, guys? So we get alpha square. So if I open my bracket, this is alpha square plus 9 minus 6 alpha minus 4 alpha square plus 8 is what we have divided by 4. Or if I can simplify, this becomes minus 3 alpha square or minus 3 by 4 alpha square. Clear? And then we have minus 6 alpha by 4. 6 alpha by 4 will give you 3 alpha by 2. Clear? And plus 9 plus 8 will give you plus 17 divided by 4. Now I want the maximum possible value of this, and we will get the maximum of this quadratic equation, because if the value of a is less than 0, then we get maxima, and if the value of a is greater than 0, we get minima. And maxima and minima of any quadratic expression is at the value of alpha is equal to minus b by 2a. Clear? So what is minus b here? Minus b will become minus of minus 3 by 2 by 2a. Now a is equal to minus 3 by 4. So here minus and minus gets cancelled. This 3, one second guys. So this 3 and this 3 gets cancelled here. This is 2 ones are, this is 2 twos are, 2 and 2 also gets cancelled. So at alpha is equal to minus 1, the expression will attain its minimum. Now we don't want the value of alpha, we want the maximum or minimum of the expression. So our job is to replace the value of alpha. So this becomes minus 3, minus 1 whole square becomes plus 1. This is minus 3 by 4. This will give you plus 6 by 4. Okay. And then this is going to be plus 17 by 4. So 17 plus 6 is 23. 23 minus 3 is 20, and 20 by 4. And therefore the value here becomes 5. Therefore, 5 should be your answer. So the minute you recollect that you have done this question, or if you remember that we have done a similar question in the class, I think this should be in your first list. And so there are a lot of questions in this paper which should be done in the first list. Now it all depends on how quickly you're able to solve those questions. Clear? Yeah, let's look at this question, guys. It's a very interesting question, but yeah, I think if you are not getting the idea in the examination, you should be leaving it in the first book, right? Not worth an attempt if in case the idea doesn't strike your mind. Okay, the plane is going in circles around an airport. Okay, so the plane is going in circles around the airport. Now you are at point P. Okay, and this complete thing takes 3 minutes, or this complete thing takes 180 seconds. Now the angle of elevation from a point P on the ground. Okay, let's say this is the point P from where you are seeing. At t seconds, let's say the plane is here. At t seconds, is equal to, so the angle of elevation here is equal to, or let's say the point A at t seconds is equal to that of the point at a time t plus 30 seconds. So let's say somewhere here in 30 seconds, the plane has covered this part. This is the point P. So this total thing is t plus 30, right? If this is t plus 30, now what we can do is, let's say this point, okay. This point is the midpoint, obviously, because the angles are same, right? So the diameter will be the midpoint here, straight line. So this will be t plus 15 seconds, and this at this point. And from here, the plane is taking t plus 15 seconds because the plane is traveling at a uniform speed. Okay. At t plus x, the plane flies vertically above p. Right. So this p is the point from the ground. Okay. You are seeing this p as a point. So I want vertically above p. That means I want from t, I want the plane to be here. I need to understand that if I draw this diameter, the complete time taken by the plane to cover the semicircle is how much, guys? One circle is equal to 180 seconds. So semicircle will be 90 seconds. So can I say time taken for this part is equal to 90 seconds? And this part is equal to t plus 15. So can I say plane is here at A? So t plus 15 plus t plus 90. That means t plus 105 seconds. Clear? At t plus 105 seconds, the plane will be at point P from A. And this P is diametrically or vertically above the point P, which is there on the ground. Clear? So since this is t plus 105 and the question is asking you t plus x, therefore the value of x here becomes 10. But yes, the idea is not very easy to derive. So please ensure that you are, in case you're clear, then you attempt. Else, even if you're leaving this question, should not be a problem. Right now, this is a very simple question. I'm given the suppose there are 8 companies. P1 is to P2 is to P3 is to P4. P1 is to P2 is to P3 is to P4. I am given as 5 is to 7 is to 4 is to 2. And I'm given P4 is to P5 is to P6 is to P7 is to P8. Now, this is a complete question which has appeared in one of the CAT papers. Slightly complicated. In the CAT paper, I guess it was of 6 companies. Here we are given 8 companies. Clear? So this is the investment done. Okay. So and I know that the ratio of their investments will be equal to the ratio of profit sharing. Now, if I have 2 different ratios, I need to combine both the ratios. So in order to combine 2 ratios, all that we need to do is we need to see that the repeated terms should be numerically same. So I multiply my second equation with 2 completely. And therefore, I will finally get the ratio of P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, and P8. So P1, P2, P3, P4 does not change. Now, if P4 is 2 already here, 2 into 1, that is 2. P5 will be 6, P6 will be 2, P7 will be 8, and P8 will be 4. This will be the ratio of their investments, or in short, this will be the ratio of the profit sharing of the company. If at the end of the year, the difference between P2 and P4 is equal to 150 lakhs. Okay. So P2 and P4 is not changing, 7 and 2. So 7x minus 2x is equal to 150, or the value of 5x is equal to 150, or the value of x is equal to 30. Now the question is asking us, find the profits made by P1, that is 5, P3, that is 4, 5 plus 4, that is 9, P5, that is 6, 9 plus 6, that is 15, 15, and P7 will be 15 plus 8, 23. So if x is equal to 30, 23x is equal to what? And that value becomes 23 into 30, which is going to be how much, guys? 690 lakhs. And therefore, option A becomes your answer. Again, it's a question from ratios. You should not be missing out in the first shot. So this is a question that you should have read it. You should have seen that there are 2 different ratios given, and all we need to do is combine their ratios. At the same time, it is a question which is depending on investments and profit sharing ratio. So very easy question, guys. You should have done in the first go. Right? Let's move to the next question. Now, this is a very interesting question, guys. If you observe, I'm told that in the given figure, there's a triangle PQR, which is a right angle triangle, which should help me to enter into the model. Okay. With angle Q is equal to 90, QR is equal to 21, and PQ is equal to 28. Right? Which means the value of this is 3 into 7. This is 4 into 7. That means the value of PR becomes 5 into 7, which will be equal to 35. Okay. Now, Uh, and then we have a quarter circle drawn and the area of the shaded portion. If you observe, the area of the shaded portion should be nothing but the complete area of the figure. Now, how will I calculate the area of the figure? I'll calculate the area of the figure as, just observe carefully. I'll calculate the area of this part. Clear? And then there is a semicircle drawn here. And then I'll calculate the area of the second part. So what is the area of the first part? Area of the first part is half into base into height. 2 ones are 2 14s are. Now 14 into 21 is 14 into 20, that is 280. I would write this as 14 into 20 plus 1. So 280 plus 14, this gives me 290. Now then I will calculate the area of the semicircle. I know this part is equal to 5. So diameter is equal to 5. So area of the second part will be 5, that is 22 by 7, into r square. If diameter is 35, r becomes 35 by 2. This also becomes 35 by 2. Pi r square divided by 2, because I am calculating the area of a semicircle. So if we need, we can simplify this. This is 7 ones are and 7 fives are. So you can always use a calculator in the exam in case you find it difficult. So that's 22 into 5, clear, into 35. That is 3850 divided by 8, which will give you 481.25. Clear? So 481.25 plus 294. So the combined area of the complete figure gives you 775.25. Now observe guys. From the complete figure, if I remove this part, then I get the area of the shaded portion. Now what is this part? This part is a quarter circle. So QR is the radius. So I repeat, this is part 3. So what is area of part 3? Area of part 3 is equal to pi. That is 22 by 7 into r square. R square, r is 21. So the r square becomes this divided by 4. So 7 ones are 7 threes are. So we get 22 into 3 into 21 divided by 4. And this gives us, so area of 1 plus 2 and area of 3 gives us 346.5. Clear? Now this minus 775.25, which will give you 428.75. So therefore, the area of the shaded portion becomes 428.75, and that becomes your answer. So a very simple question, not a difficult one, but again, if you get the idea in the first plot, then you attempt in the first go, else hold it on, come back to it and get the answer. But otherwise, I see I have a right angle triangle, I have a quarter circle, and I have a semicircle. If you're able to figure out the area of the shaded portion, then our job becomes pretty easy altogether, right? Now, a question on time and work. Last 3 questions, guys. So Kim, Jim, and Tim can complete a job in 1 day, 20 days, and 10 days respectively. Let's look at this question. So I have Kim, I have Jim, and I have Tim. This guy takes 1 day, this guy takes 20 days, and this guy takes 10 days respectively. So LCM becomes 20, this is 20, this is 1, and this is okay. Now, what do I have? Kim felt unwell on the first day and could not work at his normal capacity and left a day after. So, Kim only worked for 1 day. That means for 1 day, we have Kim plus Jim plus Tim. So, these two are working 3 units, 1 plus 2. So, let me assume Kim has completed only A units per day. Okay, what is the normal capacity? At what percentage of his normal capacity did Kim work on the first day? So the question is asking us the value of A by 20 into 100. Simple logic. Okay, now the rest, fair enough. So this is only 1 day. Okay. Now I'm told that the other two completed the job. Okay. So if the other two completed the job, I know that let us assume that this is n days they worked on. Clear? So this becomes how much days? 3n is the number of days in which they completed the job. Clear? Now what is given to us? Jim was paid 13,000 out of 15,000 out of 50,000. Okay. Now, Jim is paid as per the total work done because anybody is paid as per the amount of total work done. So I can say that Jim divided by total work is equal to 13,000 divided by 50,000. Now, what is the amount of work Jim did on first day? Jim did on first day is 1 units, and in n days, Jim completed n units. Divided by total work is 20, which is equal to 13 by 50. So 0 gets cancelled. So we have 1 plus n is equal to 26 by 5. Clear, right? Or we get the value of n is equal to 26 by 5 minus 5 by 5, which is equal to 21 by. Clear, right? So if n is equal to 21 by 5, now what is the question asking us? That what percentage of his normal capacity did Kim work on first day? That means we need the value of A. Okay, or let's do this. So 1 plus n is equal to 26 by 5. Let's use this directly here, guys. In total, this is the total time taken for the work to get completed. Clear? So can I say in 26 by 5 days, the work done by Jim and Tim together was 26 by 5 into 3. That's 3 6 are 18, 8 I carry 1. 78 by 5, which will be how much, guys? 15.6 units was done by Jim plus Tim. Clear? If 15.6 was done by Jim plus Tim and the total work is 20, so can I say the remaining work, that is 4.4 units, was done by Kim on his first day? So this should be equal to the value of P. So at what percentage of his normal capacity? That will be 4.4 divided by 20 into 100. This is 21s or 25s, and therefore Kim worked at 22% of his efficiency on one day, on day one, and therefore this becomes your answer completely. Clear? So it's again a slightly complicated question, but not much, because if you understand the process of calculating the value of A, I know that Jim plus Tim worked for n plus 1 days. So from here we get the value of 1 plus n. So n plus 1 days, and the total work done by Jim plus Tim is equal to n plus 1 into 3. This is the total work done by Jim plus Tim. Right? And from here, from 20, if you subtract Jim plus Tim's work, we get the value of Kim, which is equal to A. If you apply this model, then it's becoming very easy and should be able to solve here. Clear? Right, this is a very simple question, guys. The question says points A, comma 0 and points 0, comma B. Clear? A, comma 0, let's say, is here. This point is A, comma 0. Any point on x-axis, the value of y is 0. The point of 0, comma B, any point on y-axis, the value of this is 0. And the points 1, comma 1. So if I draw the line like this, so there will be 1, comma 1 somewhere here because they are collinear. That means all of them lie in the straight line. If all of them lie in the straight line, that means I know that the slope of any 2 points is equal to equal. So you can always calculate A, comma 0 slope and 1, comma 1 slope. Similarly, I can go with 1, comma 1 slope and 0, comma B slope. So the slope of both of them will be equal. So if you apply this, you should be able to get your answer. And that should be the very simple question, because if they are collinear, then the slopes are always equal. Clear? It's not wasting much time here, but yeah, if you understand collinear means slopes are equal, I'm sure this should have been covered in the class. Slopes are equal, so this becomes your answer in the first go, else you should have moved out and calculated the, or moved out to the last question. Clear? So coming to the last question of the paper, a very beautiful question, guys, which is on profit and loss and faulty weights. Rahul gives a discount of X percentage. Okay, after marking up the goods by 3x plus 10 percentage. Now, apart from this, we also use a faulty weight, which shows a weight of 1050 grams when it comes to 840 grams. And he earns a profit of 64.69 percentage. So let's look at the multiplying factor. So my profit factor or profit multiplying factor will be equal to, what is profit multiplying factor? That is 164.69 divided by 100, which is equal to my weight factor. What is weight factor? It is showing more. That's 1050. But it is actually 840. That means it's making a profit. So this becomes a larger value. So 1050 by 840. Now his marking up, that means the price has increased. So since the price has increased, this becomes 100 plus of 3x plus 10 divided by 100. So this will be an increasing multiplying factor. So that is markup factor. Into discount factor. If you see discount factor, after giving a discount of x percentage, 100 minus x by 100 is the fraction. Now, when he gives a discount, his money loses, right? So because he's losing money, we are applying a multiplying factor, which is smaller multiplying factor, which will be 100 minus x divided by 100. So if you calculate this, this becomes pretty easy. So start looking at this. So weight factor, if it's making a profit, I repeat, weight factor, if it's making a profit, the fraction will be a larger fraction. Markup factor is always increasing the cost. Therefore, he's always using a profit only. Therefore, the multiplying factor will be a larger factor. Now, discount is generally a loss to him because the price is decreasing. So, therefore, the multiplying factor will be a smaller multiplying factor or the multiplying factor itself. Because 100 minus x by 100 is always a smaller fraction. And all these should give you profit multiplying factor. So once you solve this, you will get the value of x and that should be your final value. So I think that's it for this paper, guys. Not a very difficult paper, but yes, it was a good mix of easy and difficult question. If I look at it this way, this question should have been converted, assuming you left this question. So this question, okay, on a conservative basis, you're not converting it. If that's the case, then this, again, let's assume your geometry is not good. Second question that you should have definitely solved. I'm going to the most conservative cycle. You should have left this question. If you have been in the class, I cannot miss this, but okay, going conservative, you have left this. Third question you should have definitely solved. Fourth question you should have definitely solved. Okay, leaving this for the time being. Fifth question you should have definitely solved. Sixth question. Clear? Seventh question. Okay, leaving it for the this. Okay, leaving it for the time being. Leaving it. Eighth question. Leaving it. Ninth question. Leaving it. 10th question. I cannot ignore this because I've been very conservative. Leaving this and also leaving this. So can I say on a worst to worst case basis, guys? I'm not expecting anywhere less than 10 questions in this paper. So I think the minimum basic score in this paper that I expect of you is going to be 30 marks. Right? But having said that, I've been very conservative. You should have converted a few more. So I think anywhere a score of 45 and above can be a very good score in this paper. Not a very easy paper as well, but yes, if you know all the concepts well, then I think a score of 45 to 50 will not be a difficult deal for you to convert in this paper. Right? So that's it for now, guys. Thank you. All the best and keep learning. And yeah, let's keep rocking, guys. Thank you.